Yes, I do think Trailblazer will fail Oronyx's trial, if it ever takes place at all, because of two simple reasons. One, all of the Crisis heirs who will inherit or have inherited the Titan's core flames have been introduced to us in the Golden Epic trailer videos. 10 of them we've seen the appearances of and their names mentioned in the game, either in the quests, in character stories, or in overworld dialogues. And that includes 2 out of the 4 silhouettes that are most likely Hysilence, the Ocean Demigod, and Saridra, the Law Demigod. This leaves us with these 2 silhouettes. For reasons that I will elaborate later, I believe the orange one belongs to the Earth Demigod, leaving us with these pink silhouettes of someone with long hair, and therein lies the problem. You see, Trailblazer can be either male or female, right? If they take up Oronyx's divinity and you happen to have chosen male Trailblazer whose hair is short, where does he fit in this portrait? My second reason has everything to do with this readable that talks about the calendar system in Amphorius and how it reveals March's connection to Oronyx. Yeah, not only will Trailblazer fail Oronyx's trial, but also it is March who will take up their divinity. Let's talk about it. So Aglaya mentioned that even after a millennium scouring the world, they had only managed to find 4 people who could potentially bear the Titan's divinity: Phynon, Castoris, Midimos, and Hyacinth. Combining this with the 6 core flames that have been returned to the Vortex of Genesis, we have in total 10 Crisis heirs out of the 12 needed for the 12 Titans' divinity. This revelation opens up many implications. First of all, I believe Aglaya had always known that Phynon would fail the Strife trial, not in the sense that she didn't believe in his power or his potential, but in the sense that he has always meant for another Titan's core flame. See, there were 6 core flames not yet returned at the start of Amphorius' quest. They were Cephalus, Thanatos, Nicodors, Aquilas, Xerxes, and Oronyxes. Out of these 6 titans, Xerxes and Oronyx were originally to be one of the last titans whose core flames they would claim because they were 2 of the least hostile titans. This is why Aglaya said that they didn't have a candidate to take up Oronyx's divinity now that the plan has suddenly changed, which also means the other 4 titans have been assigned to the 4 candidates. Castoris has been looking for Thanatos for a while now, so obviously she's meant to take up their core flame. Hyacinth is a descendant of the Sky Priest who worship Aquila, so the Sky Titan's core flame is hers to take care of. And that leaves us with Cephalus and Nicodor. Midimos was the last crown prince of Custom Kremnos, all of his life and history tied closely to Nicodor, something that I talk about at length in this other video. Like, obviously Maidi was assigned to Nicodor, right? Secretly, at least something that Tribi admitted to when Maidi called her out on it. However, being the great leader that she is, Aglaya knew that Maidi could not be pushed into taking the trial. She needed him to realize that by himself. That was why she quote-unquote pushed Phynon into the trial with a plan B ready to execute. That was why she said Phynon was the perfect vessel for divinity and believed that even if Phynon failed the Strife trial, it only meant it was not his time yet. She knew Phynon would fail because the only remaining titan not yet assigned to any Crisis heir by this point was Cephalus, the titan who held up the Dawn device for the sake of humanity. Just as Cephalus, Phynon is meant to bear the world. That's the first implication. The second one perhaps can explain the bad blood between Aglaya and Anaxagoras. I mean, did you notice that he was not listed as a candidate? Perhaps at one point he was considered to be one and he was offered the role, but he rejected. Remember, he is against the Flame Chase journey. He is one of the Crisis heirs, but given the opportunity, he would oppose the agenda. So I can imagine a conversation took place where Anaxa was asked to take up Xerxes' core flame. He's a sage from the Grove after all, it makes sense for the core flame to be Xerxes, right? And it was offered to him, but he simply refused. Perhaps he also revealed that he would rather bring Xerxes to her death if he could afford it, something that Aglaya believed he had done when the Black Tide arrived at the Grove. And now, because of what happened at the Grove, because Xerxes planted her core flame in his body, he has become both an unplanned demigod for the Risen Titan and a prisoner under Aglaya's watch, lest he tries anything funny with the core flame. So now, technically, the Crisis heirs are only missing one person, the one person who would take up Oronyx's divinity, the one person represented in this pink silhouette. Why is it not the orange silhouette, you might ask? Well, let me tell you why. Before the start of Amphorius' quest, there were already 6 core flames returned to the Vortex of Genesis. There were Nestias, Ianuses, Zygruses, Phagusas, Talentins, and Joreus. God forbid all of them are easy to pronounce. Nestia's core flame is now with Aglaya, Ianuses with Tribios, and Zygruses with Cypher. The last one was implied during Aglaya's conversation with Bartolos and confirmed in Cypher's drip marketing. So that leaves us with Phagusa, the Ocean Titan, Talenton, the Law Titan, and Georgios, the Earth Titan. Now, if we consider the 3 demigods above, Aglaya, Tribios, and Cypher, and combine them with the 5 candidates mentioned earlier, we basically have listed the first 8 Chrysos heirs introduced in the Golden Epic Thriller, conveniently telling us that the other 3 missing demigods are among the 4 silhouettes. Matching the order in which they are shown at the end of the video with the order of the names listed in the description of the video, we know that the first one from the left is Hysilence and the last one Saridra. The line of prophecy when Hysilence is shown on the screen talks about the ocean's abyss, and Hysilence is shown literally like in the ocean. She is the ocean demigod. She was the faint melodies echoing from the depth of the sea that was mentioned in Aglaya's character story. Plus, in the new Divergent universe, it is basically confirmed. As for Saridra, initially my rationale as to what her core flame would be was that she reminded me a lot of Furina from Genshin Impact because of the short hair and the little crown on top of her head. Furina was the Hydro Archon, the Archon that was also known to be the god of justice, law, Talenton. And now if you talk to Tribi in Akuma, she would tell you that Saridra was the one responsible for uniting the Chrysos heirs in the past and turning the prophecy into law, the person who entrusted the Flamechase journey to Aglaya and eventually left. While Tribi had wanted to introduce Trailblazer to her, she said that the opportunity had long passed. Final also said that the demigod who took up Talenton's core flame had long disappeared. All of that combined sounds like a confirmation as far as I could tell. Now, Georgios' demigod is even easier to figure out. If you walked around Akuma, you would find this NPC called Living Flame of Georgios. Submit an item to this Living Flame and you will obtain a mission item called Georgios' Embers, an ancient-looking torch said to hold the last unextinguished cinders of Georgios. Now, between the 2 silhouettes, only one of them is holding a flame in their hand. So after eliminating the other 3, we are left with this pink silhouette that should represent Oronyx's demigod, and that person is March 7th. Here's why. The first time March talked about her origin, as far as she knows anyway, she said that she chose to name herself March 7th because it was the day the crew found and rescued her. She was found on the 7th day of the 3rd month according to the trail-based calendar system. But what if there's a hidden meaning to that day unbeknown to even March herself? See, this readable called Amphorius' calendar talks about the unique local calendar of Amphorius, which interestingly is not unique at all. The calendar system is very similar to, if not directly taken from, the trail-based calendar system, which originated from Akivilis' home planet, which is equivalent to our real-life calendar system. The months are divided into 12, each one named after the 12 titans. The order of which month is named after which titan follows the appearance of the titans on Amphorius. The first 3 are the 3 titans of fate, followed by the titans of foundation, then the creations, and lastly the 3 of calamity. Interestingly, this order is mirrored in the table of contents section of the book as I've written. The month of Gate, which is the first month of the year, is named after Janus, represented by Tribios. The 7th month is the month of freedom, named after Caphali, represented by Phynon. 9th is Nestia, represented by Aglaya, and so on. This table of contents is basically the 12th month in Amphorius' calendar, represented by the Chrysos heirs. Now, do you want to take a guess as to which titan the 3rd month is named after? Here's a hint. This titan has been opposing the Flamechase journey. Their core flame has been recently stolen by the Flame Reaver and recovered by the Chrysos heirs, and they have been looking for their mother. Yep, the 3rd month in Amphorius' calendar is named after Oronyx, just as March is the 3rd month of the year. But the connection doesn't stop there. It's boring if it's that simple, right? See, the calendar also dictates the division of weeks and days in the month. Except for one month that is unpredictable because of Zagreus, every other month consists of 4 weeks, and each week consists of 7 days, with Sunday designated as a rest day. And there's a legend as to how it came to be. In the distant past, when day and night cycle was still a thing in Amphorius, Aquila and Oronyx each governed a portion of the cycle respectively. Although back then, Oronyx's night sky was only scattered with stars, hardly a match to Aquila's massive sun. Competitive as they were, Oronyx used gems to absorb Aquila's light, intertwining it with the satin of the night. Then they shape it as a satellite planet to illuminate the night sky. This is then known as the moon. proud of their creation but yet to be satisfied with it, Oronix decided to make more moons. The first one only took them 1 day to create anyway. A few more days of work was nothing if the result could rival the brightness of Aquila's sun. So Oronix made another moon the next day and another the next one until 6 moons were in the night sky by the 6th day. This caused chaos in the ocean. I suppose the gravitational pull of the moon works the same in Amphoris as on Earth. Phagusa, the ocean titan, was displeased and decided that they would put a stop to it. Like, Oronix, stop making moons. It's basically what they're saying. So on the 7th day, they brought sweet ambrosia to Oronix, determined to get Oronix drunk so they would sleep the day away and not create any more moons. And that's what happened. As soon as Oronix woke up on the 8th day, they were forbidden from creating any more moons. And because 6 moon would continue to bring imbalance to the world, Talenton decided to eliminate 2/3 of them, leaving only 2 moons in the night sky, the Scarlet Moon and the Golden Moon, which we could see in the night sky in version 3.2 trailer. Now, that 7th day that Oronix slept through was then designated as a rest day. So the 3rd month of the year in Amphorius is named after Oronix, and the 7th day of the week is marked as a rest day because it was the day that Oronix slept through, much like March, who was found unconscious, or you could say asleep, in the 6 phase ice on the 7th day of the 3rd month of the year. And of course, this is simply one more proof of March's connection to Oronix. There have been many before, such as her 6 phase ice that is pretty much like Memoria that is related to remembrance, while Oronix's power is also related to remembrance. I cover a lot more of it in my early prediction of Amphorius, a 3-month-old video, yes, but I think it still holds up pretty well today. Check it out next if you haven't, and oh, one more thing. I've seen some comments saying that my voice reminds them of Wuthering Waves Zani, and because of that, my partner has drawn me in Zani's outfit. I think it looks really cool. And yes, by some comments, I mean exactly 2 comments. But you know what they say? If I have a nickel for every time someone says my voice reminds them of Wuthering Waves Zani, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Alright, compliment this drawing in the comment below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!